Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Nerdy Cops podcast, and welcome to the dumbest piece of shit episode you guys have ever seen, because I'm hosting again, and everybody knows that when I host, nothing goes right, and it's just random bullshit. So today, we're going to be doing a tier list. Now, Nathaniel and
Yes,
Casey, you guys are both parents. I
correct.
am not a parent. Technically, I have cats, but that does not count. It's not the same. If you say it's the same, it's not. You're lying. Dogs are actually probably closer because at least cats are self-sufficient.
That is
Anyway,
true.
anyway,
Tracks.
today we are going to be doing a tier list of nostalgic kid
Oh,
shows.
oh
Gosh.
no.
Oh dear.
There's probably way too much I've never seen that on it.
I mean,
Okay,
yes, and
talk.
also I'm gonna be biased as hell.
Okay, before we get started, so Renner, go ahead and dive into what our tiers are.
So our tier list are extreme nostalgia, and how I'm gonna basically do this is I'm gonna say like extreme nostalgia, I like it, it's okay. Nausea, never seen it.
Okay.
Like
Yep.
nausea's like bad. I'm also gonna say extreme nostalgia is like I would let my kids watch this.
Mhm.
I like it. It's okay, I guess. Nausea, never seen it. That's totally
Yeah.
fine. Those are kind of the, but like extreme nostalgia is going to be kind of like, oh yeah, like this is very, like this is huge. That makes
There's
sense.
there's
I
gonna
have.
be
Oh,
some. Yeah, sorry, you go for it.
oh, my apologies. I was just curious. Are you, Renner? Are you putting yourself in this equation, or is this just Nathaniel and I?
Oh no, this is like I'll be just kind of like last time, like I'll be giving input here and
Okay.
there, but like
Okay.
mainly I'm letting you guys.
I do think there's going to be at least a handful of these that me nor Casey know about. So
That's probably fair.
we might need your
Maybe.
guidance.
Yeah. And one thing I was wanting to point out is the vast generation gap between all three of us.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
It's going to be funny.
That's totally fair. But also at the same time, like I'm looking at some of this stuff and I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck this is. And it's not
Cool.
because like it's new. Like some of this stuff, it is old as hell.
Yeah.
Like Oswald, that's old as hell.
I mean,
Oswald
yeah.
here, that's old. Like that's old. That's
Yes.
technically older than I am.
Yeah.
So it's just like
I see a
don't
lot of
know.
these as older than you, but we'll see.
Let's
So-
dive into it, man. I'm ready.
Okay, so
Let's do it.
kicking it off. We are your friends, the Backyardigans. I feel like this is like this is kind of like the baseline of just like kid shows. I could be wrong.
Okay.
This like for
So
me,
You
I'm gonna
could be wrong.
I'm gonna start with this. I've never seen it, and my child's never seen it. So
interesting. All right, never seen it category.
Yeah, same ditto. Yeah.
All right, I have no idea what the fuck these bananas are.
Bananas in pajamas. I actually do know this one. So this one actually, Casey, do you recognize that one? Because that's more your generation than mine, I think.
I'll be honest. I don't. I mean, I've heard the name. That's
Okay.
about it. I
I
don't know.
I'll decide then, I guess. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna put it in okay, I guess. Like I remember liking it. I have not followed up with it at all in adulthood. Like I hear it mentioned every once in a while. I also don't remember like super fondly liking it. It was like, yeah, it was a show that was on sometimes. So I'm
It
gonna
was
give it
a
okay,
thing.
I guess. It could be really good, and I just haven't seen it. But
Let's go watch it tomorrow, bro.
No.
Just kidding. Soik.
No. Next up, Barney.
Okay, I'm gonna let Nathaniel lead this one because I'm curious.
Okay, so we gotta give a little bit of a backstory on this
We-
one. So
we do.
our younger brother is on the spectrum, and to this day,
Have we never talked about that? Like
I
in the
don't-
history of the podcast, have we never talked about your brother?
It
Your
had to
other
come up.
brother?
It
I
had
will
to
say
come up at
I
some
don't know if we have since we started doing video podcasts.
True.
I definitely think it came up when we were talking, like when we were doing just audio. But with that said, like he's a 30-plus-year-old man now, and this is still something he will listen to and blast all the time. So like I do feel a lot of nostalgia towards it, but I also feel like I never want to watch the show again. So
That's fair. I have a story with Barney.
Okay.
I'm actually in an intro to a Barney movie.
Nice.
Me, my mom, my dad, and my sister were all scouted by somebody to come and play a family at a carnival. So I am actually somewhere in a Barney movie.
We have to go find that now.
Challenge accepted.
No, please and thank you.
You are releasing this to the internet. It will be done.
But also, here's the thing, though, with the internet, they know what I look like. They don't know what my mom or my dad or my sister looks like. They don't know what they looked like over 14 years ago.
You're right. I will take this on personally then.
Yeah, I was about to say still challenge accepted.
Because I do. So
Casey doesn't.
Casey does not, but I do.
So. Anyway, and Casey, your thoughts on Barney the Purple Dinosaur?
Okay, so I mean, Nathaniel gave the backstory to it. So being 6 years older than him, I don't think my, let's say, nausea is quite as high. It is still there and it is strong. But in terms of what you spoke of, in terms of letting our kids watch it and stuff, I would probably place it somewhere along the lines of like it / okay, I guess. And part of the reason is because if I'm being 100% honest, I still catch myself singing some songs.
Barney the dinosaur.
Yeah.
Honestly, not even that one. Honestly, the one that I walk around work as a 39-year-old man singing a lot of times is Down by the Bay.
Down by the
You
bay,
can
down
judge me
by
as
the
needed.
bay, where the watermelons grow, grow back to my home.
Exactly. So, I mean,
Valid.
Me personally, I would say like it or okay, I guess.
With that said, I'm going to officially say let's put it in like it. I think it deserves because it is iconic in our house. It is. It gets knocked down. Oddly enough, I've never shown that to my daughter. I don't think my daughter knows, or if we did, we might have done it like one time. Like it's just not one that is very prevalent.
Yeah, I haven't either, and it's partly because I don't know where it streams because today's world. But
I think it's on Amazon. Amazon has a bunch of like nostalgic kid shows. Like it has like Zaboomafoo on there.
Well,
it has
Zaboomafoo.
And I'm going to speak into this because I'm very knowledgeable of this part. So Amazon teams up with PBS Kids. But sometimes PBS Kids requires an extra subscription. So also, if you're a big fan, I love them so much, I'm going to give it a free shout out here. If you liked Zaboomafoo as a kid, and you have younger kids yourselves, go show them Wild Kratts because it's the same people. The same people from
It is the Kratt brothers. But that one's more majority animated, whereas Zaboomafoo is majority live action.
Yes, like they usually the intro is live and then the outro is live and then in the between is animated, which makes sense because honestly, I love them, but they are getting a lot older, and I think they're probably going to transition into just animated.
Full animation. Yeah. So next up is Bear in the Big Blue House.
Okay, I'll let Casey know. Okay, I did watch the show as a kid. I did like it.
I also watched the show. Okay. I liked it. The only reason that like I still kind of have like I do have kind of like extreme nostalgia is because of Chick-fil-A used to have it used to do like deals with PBS Kids where they would have cassette tapes. I know I'm that old. They would have cassette tapes in the kids' meals that you would then play, and it would tell stories, or it had literal audio episodes of Bear in the Big Blue House. Nice. Like it had a whole bunch of stuff on it. And so like I have extreme nostalgia for Bear in the Big Blue House, but also just because of the memes. There's
I'm
like a
not
meme.
super familiar with the memes, if I'm
Oh,
being
there's a
honest.
meme
So
of hold on, the mouse
we
from.
we
No,
cannot
no,
get
you
this
keep going.
distracted every time we talk, because we've done 3
Oh
before.
yeah, 100%.
So but I'm good with putting it in like it. Oh
This
gosh.
meme, this
Gosh.
meme, like this
Okay.
meme, or it's screaming, like
That's fair.
there's a bunch of memes about the mouse from the Bear in the Big Blue House that you've probably seen. So anyway, what
That's
do
fair.
you think?
I'm good with like it. I can't put it in extreme nostalgia. Just
Above or below Barney?
for me, it's got to be a below Barney.
Below Barney, gotcha.
Yeah.
I'll go with that. Next up is Blue's Clues.
Casey, any experience with Blue's Clues?
So if I'm being honest, I've only watched Blue's Clues as an adult.
Okay,
Same.
and that's fine, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
That's one of those situations. But I liked it, to be honest. I mean, obviously, with that said, it's not going to be extreme nostalgia.
Yeah,
but
I know it is for
it's
so many people, but I just
yeah.
it kind of
I watched it a lot.
I think this is a
growing up, so.
generational thing. I think me and Casey are just slightly too old for this to be in that peak kid show period.
Yeah,
It
and
was
that
good,
kind of makes sense because the thing is like Blue's Clues has had like generational like
Yes.
development anyway. Like we are now on like the 3rd or 4th host, and like each time like it's like they've explained it as like, oh yeah, this host, like they show up for like their last shoot or whatever, and their entire like that entire episode is like based on like them going to college, or they have to move away or something like that, and they make it very supportive because the thing is like some of those kids, they get attached to those hosts. Now I will say I kind of grew out of Blue Clues before the first host transition, so I didn't experience that firsthand.
Yeah.
But
so I will say my main experience with Blue's Clues is actually watching it with my daughter, but it is like the newer, like Big Clues Big City Adventure, I think, is the most recent
that
movie.
was a movie that came out.
It was a movie that came out, and that's my main experience. Like I still have not gone back and watched like old Blue's Clues. So like I don't know. Part of me still wants to put it in extreme nostalgia just because I know so many people feel that way, but I personally can't. I don't think Casey personally can. So I do think for
if I'm being honest,
us,
I think, and that's totally fine. I think we say like it, but we put it above Barney.
I think that's fair. It wouldn't be for us personally, but
yeah,
in the zeitgeist of things, I think that's fair.
We're accepting that we're old.
Yes.
Gotcha. Next up is Beau on the Go. I have no idea what the hell this is.
I have never heard of that.
Never heard of it either.
There you
never
go.
Seen
never
it.
Seen
there we go.
We need another category.
Below
never even heard of.
Below backyardigans.
Yes.
Bob the Builder.
Okay. Casey, do you have?
So I mean, yeah, obvious. I mean, maybe not obviously, but this is past me. But I have seen it. I've even watched a little bit with my kiddos. I love it, to be honest.
Because like there's new Bob the Builder episodes coming out, right? Like it's not like it stopped. Like there's like been a reboot of like the series where like it's newer animation and stuff.
Check that. But with that said, like, I mean, it's obviously not nostalgic, but I honestly, what I watched with my kiddos, I loved it. I really did. Like, I mean, it was fun, and I mean, yeah.
Oh, I'm very wrong. It officially ended in 2018, but then there's now a YouTube channel, an official YouTube channel.
So they're still going.
Animation. Yeah, but it has that new animation.
Gotcha.
Where he actually looks like a human and not he doesn't look like Hey Arnold in his 40s.
That's fair. With that said, I am gonna let y'all decide this one just because I have very limited experience with Bob the Builder.
I'm gonna say it's okay, I guess. What do you think, Casey?
I mean, I would put it at like, I mean,
like
what
it?
I watched, I mean, I really enjoyed it watching it with my kids. I mean, that makes me a little bit biased because just being with my kids makes it more fun. But
yes, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, next up I have Busy Town Mysteries.
Never heard of
Now, I never watched this show, but I remember the gold books, or like the gold label, or gold label books. Is that what they are?
The little golden
it.
book.
The last, yeah, the golden book.
Scholastic golden books or
Is that
whatever.
right? Maybe.
It's literally like kids books or what,
Yeah, I just think they're
like
called little golden books. I think that's just what they
that
are.
that might be
Yeah,
it. And
I
the
think
thing is
so.
that I remember a lot of the books that feature the characters that are in this from what I can see, but I never watched this show.
Okay, I've never heard.
Also,
I haven't heard of that one.
I'm just gonna go ahead and nausea for Caillou. Anyway.
I'm. I might have to speak into that. Well, I guess I can do that now.
No,
I
okay, but for this one, I've never seen it. You've never seen it.
Yeah.
Casey, never seen it. Okay.
Okay. So here's the deal with Caillou. I understand that in modern times it is fun to point out that Caillou's a little turd of a child. With that said,
there's like the whole sub genre of like Caillou's dad is apparently like a cuck or something. like
there's
like,
we're
no,
not.
like
I'm not explaining.
I'm
cuck
not
to you.
explaining that either.
Hang
I'm
on,
not.
I'll Urban Dictionary it.
There
Oh
you go.
God.
Go for
Okay.
it. I'd much rather you do that than me have to explain it to you.
But y'all keep going.
Okay. So while he looks into that, I will just say when this came out when I was a small child, and I did like it as a small child. And
I have to agree. I kind of liked it as well, but also at the same time, now as an adult looking back on it, it's like
so, and that's my next thing is I've never watched this in my adulthood. I only have it as a child, and I've never revisited it. So
I have not like revisited like myself in like my personal time, but like I have like seen things
Gotcha.
of Caillou, and it's just like, God, why was this allowed to be shown to us as a kid? Because the thing is like, yes, there were lessons in Caillou and stuff,
Yeah.
but like a lot of it is still just like his parents just enabled him and just like let him like throw these temper tantrums where it's just like, I'm like, this isn't realistic. My mom beat my ass. Huh? What? My dad beat my ass.
That's funny. Okay, with that said, I did just want to put that caveat. Honestly, I'm okay putting it in nausea. I did want to give that little caveat of I do have fond memories of it, but I know
Gotcha.
it's one of those. I also kind of refuse to watch it in my adulthood because of how much I have heard about it. So.
Yeah.
With that said, though, I mean, like we almost could have put Barney in for you and me. We could have put Barney in nausea.
It just goes back and forth because I have extreme
Yeah.
nostalgia, but it also makes me nauseous. So it's like it's both.
It's one
That's
of
why
those. Like,
it's just kind of like I just kind of put it in between. But I did give it bonus points because again, in our household, that show was just iconic.
It was iconic.
So,
I mean, yeah.
Okay, what do we got next? What is that?
Next up, I remember the books for this series again.
Okay.
I do not remember these like a TV. I think I may have like watched an episode or two here and there, but I do not remember this show. I mostly remember the books.
Do you know the name of it?
No, I have no idea.
Cool. Sorry.
Why is it on this list?
Yeah, I didn't make this list.
Oh, okay.
I did not make this list.
That's fair.
Somebody else did.
Okay.
Gotcha.
With that said, I think we just got to put it in never seen it.
Yeah, I don't. Doesn't even look familiar to me.
Next up,
the next
Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Okay. I'll start with this because I'm not gonna lie. For me, it ticks all the boxes. I watched it as a kid. I loved it as a kid. I've watched this with my daughter. And to me, the
new movie that came out a couple years ago.
Yeah,
that actually looked decent. I didn't actually see it.
It was okay. Like they liked it. I don't know if I've actually seen that one, but my wife and daughter did go see that one. So, with that said, I'm willing to put that one in extreme nostalgia, unless y'all need to knock it down. So.
Nah, I'm good with putting Clifford in.
I mean, I'm fine with it. I've seen a few. it's not nostalgic for me,
Yeah.
but I've seen a few and I really liked it. So
Okay.
it's fair.
I'm really curious about this next one. So Renner, do you know what this next one is?
I don't know what this is.
Okay. Casey, this is We Sing Silly Songs.
No.
He left. He actually left. Okay.
He's back.
So, Casey, what
Oh.
is your issue with We Sing
Nausea. Nausea. It's a nausea. Move on.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
No. We can
Nathaniel,
have
anything to add?
I'll let him clarify real quick, and we can
Okay.
dive in from there.
No, it's not that bad, but it is. I mean, it's kind of like Barney, but more obnoxious, if you could believe that.
Yeah, and I can speak into this because there's a very specific reason that he had that visceral of a reaction to this. Because with Barney, we had multiple different VHS tapes. With We Sing Silly Songs,
Did you just have
we
one?
had
Did
the
you have...
one.
Oh no!
And so-
Oh no!
And especially with our younger brother being on a spectrum, we would watch that thing over and over and over and over and over and over. And so with some things, you can do that and it still be okay. Nausea is the conclusion for this one.
Yeah.
I
Below
know-
or above Caillou? Below.
For me, it's below Caillou because I still have positive feelings towards Caillou. This is one of those,
Gotcha.
I never want to
Did I-
see this again. So
Yeah.
and again, just to speak into other people who may be watching this and have different feelings, I understand that that is a very specific thing that we went through with that show. But it's how that we both went through it, and Renner's never seen it. So
this is our list.
I have no input.
yes.
If you love it, you love it. But
yes.
man.
Ugh.
All right, next up, it's Dora.
Okay. Tell you what, I don't have a lot to add to this, but I will say I've watched a few episodes with my kids. I'm gonna put I can't say nausea. That's not the right word. Sorry. Nostalgic, but I really liked it. I mean, it was educational. It was fun. It was adventurous. I really liked it. But
Okay.
I don't. I mean, it's not that old, so
Yeah. It's not a bad show. I would probably lean towards either lower like it or higher okay, I guess. But I don't have a lot of
I will also put okay, I guess, because
Yeah.
personally, I liked Diego more. Diego's show is a
Diego
little bit better.
and Diego's made for a slightly older audience, if I'm not mistaken. Like Dora's
It might
show
have
is
been.
made for 2 or 3-year-olds, and that is a very small window of time. So
I don't think I've ever seen Diego. Is Diego on this list?
Go Diego, go! And no, it's not. Right?
Oh.
That's the name of the show. Go
It
Diego,
is.
go.
yes, it is.
Yeah, it's not on here because
All
it
right.
came out several years after Dora came out too.
It did. Okay, what's this next one?
Mr. Dress Up.
Never
I
heard
have
of
no
that in
idea
my
what the
life.
fuck this is, but it also looks just about as old as Casey, if I'm being honest from this image.
Ouch.
Love you too, buddy, but tell me I'm wrong. Okay, never seen it. Next up, Dudley the Dragon.
Oh wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I do have to that show is from 1967. So that is considerably
I
older than Casey.
I apologize, Casey. I apologize. I'm
The
sorry.
previous hand motions.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Back
what's
to
this
Dudley
next
the
one?
Dragon. I have never. I think I may have seen a couple of things of Dudley the Dragon. Personally, if you are talking dragon related, I gotta go with Dragon Tales, but that's not on this list. Nope.
Oh, that would be
I don't know
extreme
why.
nostalgia.
Extreme
me.
nostalgia for Dragon Tales.
Yes, absolutely.
Dragon Tales, come on.
I still randomly just go, I wish with all
With
my
all
heart,
my heart.
to fly with the dragons. Yep. Okay, but with this one, I've never heard of it, so I don't have
Casey, have you
anything.
heard of Dudley the Dragon?
it's funny. I have heard of it, but I don't remember anything about it. So it kind of falls into the I've never seen it for sure. So
Okay.
Gotcha.
what do
Next,
y'all know what year? Real quick, do y'all know what year that was?
Dudley the Dragon? No
Yeah.
idea.
Okay.
Y'all start the next one. I will.
Okay.
Elmo's World.
Okay.
I
Not hold on, clarification.
Not Sesame Street.
Sesame
it's Elmo's
Street,
World.
Elmo's
It is Elmo's
World.
World. Yes, it is.
yeah.
So with that said, what do you think, Casey? What do you have nostalgia for Elmo's World?
I don't remember Elmo's World.
Okay.
Obviously, I remember Sesame Street and Elmo's World, which we'll get to, but
So I will say
remember.
this came out when I was a little bit older, probably like lower teens or something like that. But it became a show because Keegan still watched it. Our younger brother still watched it, so I was aware of it. But it became a show that like me and my high school friends eventually would like mimic and make fun of and have fun with. So I do have nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and see, I remember that. But with that said,
Yes.
I was going into high school, so obviously I wasn't
honestly
sitting around.
you might have been going into college. If I'm early
No,
teens,
so it's 98. I just looked.
Oh
at
wow. Okay.
So it started 98. I mean,
Okay.
so by the time you heard about it,
Yeah.
you probably were early teens. But I mean, yeah, early college, early high school. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be making fun of it. I'm gonna
Yes.
ignore its existence.
So for me, I remember watching Elmo's World, but my thing is I remember Elmo's World as a segment of Sesame Street, not its own original show.
Yeah, because it starts as a segment from Sesame Street, and then it later became its own show.
But the thing is what Casey just pointed out is the show, like Elmo's World itself, started in 1998.
Okay.
I was born after that, but yet I still remember Elmo's World being a segment on Sesame Street, not its own original show.
Yeah, I mean Sesame Street, which I know I see is next, but we'll get to that.
I made that be next anyway.
Yes, I saw that you did that. For me, I would put Elmo's World at either lowest like it or high okay, I guess.
I'll put it at highest.
And I'm okay actually putting it below Dora. So all that said, that's probably where
Dora. Okay,
that's probably where it belongs. So
next up, Sesame Street. Let's be honest.
I mean, it's extreme nostalgia.
It's extreme nostalgia. Let's be honest.
Really? Okay. I was wondering how this conversation was going because for me, it's absolutely undeniable extreme nostalgia.
I mean, that show is still going on. Like,
oh yeah, no, 100%.
I mean,
we talked about this before about how like Big Bird has like a shit ton of different like regional variants.
Yes.
Like, and they're all related to Big Bird. Like they're all like his cousin or something.
Okay. Can we take a second? I know this will lengthen the episode a little bit, but can we take a second? Do y'all have like a favorite Sesame Street scene?
Scene, like specifically?
Yeah.
My favorite one is Bert and Ernie.
Oh no. Are you gonna take mine?
Is it the one with the trash can on Bert's head? And
no, go for it.
Is Ernie the grouchy one or is Bert the grouchy one?
Bert is the grouchy one.
Okay.
He's not the Grouch. Don't be confused.
No, he's not Oscar. He's not Oscar. So Ernie is trying to find the trash can or something. Like he's been trying to find something. Ends up Bert has the trash can, like, and it's like a mesh like trash can that's like in like an office or something over his head. So you can see Bert still. But then like Ernie is like, I wonder where the hey Bert, have you seen the wastebasket around or anything? And Bert just turns slowly and looks at Ernie and goes, "Look into my eyes." and ask me again.
I will say I'm pretty sure mine is the same as yours. Does it involve fishing?
Gosh.
I do not. Oh, you guys are talking about one.
Okay.
I'm gonna let Casey talk into that one then.
I showed my children, particularly my son, this week this scene. where Bert and Ernie go fishing. If you haven't seen this, pause this episode, go watch it on YouTube, then come back.
And comment about what you thought about that, because engagement, please. Thank you.
Yes, please and thank you. But it is Bert and Ernie going fishing, and Bert can't seem to catch anything. Ernie just says basically like, just call them. Just call them. And he goes, here, fishy, fishy, fishy. And they just jump in. Bert's getting all pissed off about him not being able to catch any. And he tries to do the same thing and he can't do it. And it's just, I mean, I'm a 39-year-old man and I still laugh at that. Like, it's just fantastic. So.
And if, just for the record, if you go to YouTube and just type Bert and Ernie fishing, it's the first video there.
It is.
So.
Yep. It is. So.
Okay. With that said, we should move on to the next one.
Moving on. I'm sorry I dragged it down. I know,
Next one.
but it's Sesame Street.
And, oh, by the way, are we putting this below Clifford, or are we moving? Are we putting?
It needs
it's
to be above
top
Clifford.
tier. Top tier. Gotcha.
Far
Okay.
above. Yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
Clifford.
Next thing, I remember this show. What I do not remember is the name of this show.
I don't remember this show, so I thought that was Madeline for a second, but it's not Madeline.
Let me see if I can zoom in real quick. Yeah, that is no bells at all. I have no idea.
I've got nothing on that one.
Yeah. Okay. So never seen it, but I'm putting it like up here because at least I know what it is. Next up is Franklin.
Okay.
I've never seen it, so it's all
I watched it a little bit. For me personally, I would put it like okay, I guess, just because I watched it a little bit. I don't have a whole lot to add.
I personally like the books more.
That's fair. Okay.
Next up.
Yeah, let's do it.
Curious George. I have a lot of nostalgia for Curious George that goes all the way up into my middle school years.
So here's my thing. This kind of goes what you've been saying. Like, I have nostalgia for Curious George books. I don't think I've ever watched the show. So I don't know. Do with that what you will.
Okay.
And so to chime in, kind of the same situation, but we regularly read it to our kids, and I have seen some of the show.
Now, hold on. Let me clarify.
Yeah.
I have most nostalgia for the books.
Okay.
But there was a movie that came out when I was still a kid. And this was it was a kids movie, but like it was back when like kids movies were also like Iron Giant level of the adults are like saying some questionable things and it's just like, oh no. Oh, like I showed a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old Iron Giant, and there's a and like the thing is like it's a great kids movie.
Oh yeah.
Up until the general is just like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm just like, oh no. I forgot. No.
Good movie though.
You cannot repeat that ever. You never saw shit.
What'd you just say, Mr. Renner?
I mean, so I'll throw my 2 cents in there. Is even though it's a little convoluted, it's freaking Curious George. I would be okay with putting them at extreme nostalgia. Under
Clifford.
Under Clifford or under Sesame Street, somewhere in there, not above Sesame Street.
Here's my logic for under Clifford is I genuinely think most people are more nostalgic for the Curious George books than they are the shows. And since we are really focused on the shows,
I would agree with you on that.
Yeah.
So I was specifically talking about the movie.
Absolutely.
The movie specifically, there is a song that is at the intro and I believe during the credits of the movie that is by Jack Johnson.
Weird.
It's not weird. It's awesome. Everybody go listen to it.
It's fantastic. Now the thing is everybody my age, you play that song, they know exactly what that's from. You play that for my little sister's generation, they know exactly what that's from.
Also my generation, just FYI.
Also your generation, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, no, I'm serious.
And the only reason I can agree, I say that it's like nostalgic, like for me specifically, is because all the way up until I was in middle school, and I was in football, and one of my football coaches was one of the science teachers. For every quiet time, like when we're studying or taking a quiz, taking a test, he would pull up Jack Johnson music and just play Jack Johnson the entire time. And that song specifically would always be within the playlist because it's Jack Johnson. And I just love that song. So I agree, extreme nostalgia. It's fine that we're putting it below Clifford.
Okay.
Next up, Jake and the Neverland Pirates.
So, Casey, do you have any? Okay, so this is interesting because I've only watched this show with my daughter. I did not grow up with the show at all. I think it came out.
I was a
think it
little
came
too
out-
old
Okay, I
for
think
this show.
I think it came out when I was an adult, like a straight up adult. Like I think
I
it's come out within
believe-
the last 10 years or so, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
believe I was like early teens when this came out.
Okay. So either way, it may be like 10, 15 years, but either way, I'm still very much in adulthood. So like, but it's good. It's a good show. It's a from Neverland. It, Captain Hook is the bad guy. It's very it's a Disney show. I'm good with putting it and like it. It's just weird for
Peter
me
Pan
because
doesn't show up until like the very end of the series.
yes, it's just, to me, this is a weird one to be on this list because to me this show is not nostalgic.
This is not
at all.
nostalgic at all.
It is just, it's a good show, but like it's a show that I've watched within the last 5 years for the first time. So like it's a good show, but I don't know what you want to do with that. Maybe bottom of like it, but it's a really good show. So
I mean,
do with that what you will.
From a third party perspective, from what you just said, it seems like you like it. Maybe on the lower side of that, but I mean, you just genuinely said you liked it.
Let's put it on the lower side of like it because it's a good show, but I can't put it anywhere near the nostalgia level because the whole thing is about nostalgic things. So it has to be knocked down because of that for me personally.
I mean, I was between like it and okay, I guess, but you seem to like it more than that.
It's a really good show. So
yeah, fair.
Yeah,
very fair.
Okay.
Next up is JJ the Jet Plane.
Okay.
I
will say I did watch this when I was younger. I felt at the time, I think I would have said it's okay, I guess. So for me personally,
I also am gonna say it's
okay, I guess.
Below or above Bananas in Pajamas.
I'd put it on the bottom personally because
gotcha.
I just felt it was a fairly generic show. So
gotcha. Next up, I recognize this character.
I do too.
Know what show this is from.
I don't either. So
I don't know.
It's probably okay, here. I guess, but that's fine. That works. Okay.
I remember Kipper.
I don't remember Kipper.
It was I would say it's a very cute show, very cute books that came out. Pretty good.
Okay. I'll let you kind of take the reins on that one. If you
I'm gonna because 2 out of 3 haven't seen it, I will put it like up here.
Okay.
On never seen it.
Do you know what this one is? I recognize that bear.
I recognize the bear as well. I don't remember what. It's not the Berenstain Bears.
Mm-mm. It's not Berenstain Bears. That was the only.
No, it's not Berenstain Bears. Which I'm surprised that's not on here.
That needs to. Well, is that a show?
Yes, there was a TV series.
That's kind of like Curious George for me. Is Berenstain Bears is a book series, and that would definitely be nostalgic. But
okay, it looks to me, from the very little bit of Googling I just did, it looks like this is a show called Little Bear that came out in 1995.
Little Bear, of course.
So With
I
that
remember Little
said,
Bear.
I don't remember much of this. I do remember that bear. I remember liking it, so I'm okay putting it in like lower, like much lower like it, or maybe even okay, I guess, just because of how.
I'll put it over here.
Okay, I think that's fair, just because it didn't sink in enough for me to go, oh my gosh. So
It's cute bears.
yeah,
I remember this show. I hated this show.
what is that? Do you know anything about it? Like what
It's
it's
a dog
called?
that can talk.
Cool. I have no feeling about it, so
That nausea, I guess. There you go.
cool.
Max and Ruby.
Huh.
I know the characters, I recognize it. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
Or if I have, I've just been like, yeah, that exists. So I would
I'm going to
probably
point out there's been a lot of these things that the only reason that I'm now realizing the only reason I remember this is because my mom would take us to Gymboree a shit ton because that's where a lot of our childhood clothes, me and my sisters, came from. I
what
believe
is
Gymboree's is closed now.
what was Gymboree?
It was literally just
Children's
a
clothing.
child, or an infant, all the way up to like 5 to 6 year old like children's
Gotcha.
clothes, like Gap.
Okay.
There's an equivalent now. I forget Carter. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't got kids.
I mean, I do have
Yes.
kids, but I'm a cheapskate. So
Yeah, I do like Kid to
That's
Kid and
the that is the
JBF,
thing.
but
That is the thing. It's like a very expensive chain store of
okay.
like,
oh, okay. I stay away.
so like that makes sense, but like, oh, they have like, I remember, and I'm getting nostalgia just by talking about this, is like they had these little chairs that they had around a big old like box TV that was like in case that they like put glass in front of and just played PBS Kids round the clock.
Nice.
And they had these little chairs that like the kids could sit because they're children. And if you have the children running around the store, that's disruptive. So
Yeah.
they did what they were supposed to do.
Nice.
That, and also JC Penney's photography studios.
Okay.
They also had children, like little children's places for the children to sit and watch shows.
So with that said, where do you want to put Max and Ruby? Because I think it should be placed. Because
I'm gonna put it at okay, I guess.
okay, fair enough.
Next up, I am going to say, yes, it has the new image of what the new
Okay.
Mickey Mouse looks like, but that's just because that's how new Mickey Mouse looks on TV.
Yeah.
The old Mickey Mouse shorts or Disney shorts have been playing on TV since before any of us were born.
Yes.
So I remember all of these going way back before this was a thing. I have nostalgia from watching these. I still kind of get nostalgia from watching the new ones because it's like, oh, that's so funny. Like that kind of like goes back to like the original, like content. That's so cool. I'm glad they did that. Cause like they stopped doing those for like over a decade at one point.
Okay. So here's where I think we might have a bit of a thing, because if I'm not mistaken, Casey, you probably don't have a lot of nostalgia for like Mickey shorts because we didn't grow up with cable.
We didn't.
Yeah. So I
It's
do a little bit.
Definitely a like it, but
Yeah.
it's not a nostalgia.
I kind of agree, honestly. I know that sounds crazy to put Mickey Mouse not in extreme nostalgia, but for me, it would be the highest level of like it.
I agree 100%. Like I mean,
I'm being very generous by saying like, hey, like these are just the Mickey Mouse shorts in its entirety.
I mean, if
not the new ones.
And to be fair, I'm also in my head, I'm also counting like the Disney releases of like Three Mouseketeers, and that's all kind of in there for me. But honestly, for me, despite the fact that I'm a huge Disney fan, Mickey Mouse has always just kind of been like, I like it. I'm not
To be-
super nostalgic for Mickey Mouse himself.
To be honest, the ones that are either just Donald or just Goofy, like centered, are way better than the ones that have Mickey in it.
Yeah, that's fair. Like I still go back to like when Goofy was exercising and he was
Or
trying to get
Donald was
fit.
a Nazi.
No.
It happened. It was a thing.
It did.
Again, it was just in his dream, but then he woke up and immediately said,
Nope, moving on. Casey, what were you
Moving
gonna
on.
say?
What were you
I
gonna
mean,
say?
just to kind of add to that is like, I mean, for extreme nostalgia, like Goof Troop, if anybody remembers that, that would be like
Yeah.
top tier. I remember coming home from elementary school begging mom and dad to let me watch that because it came on at 3:30 right when I got home. So I had to beg to see if I could watch that before I do my homework.
Because that was
otherwise I missed it.
prime time television, man. That was when that's when Disney, like Disney, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, they had all of like their prime time shows playing right after school because that's when they know they could get all of the kids to watch it.
Yep.
The parents weren't
Absolutely.
quite ready to deal with putting up with their kids. So they're like, here, have some screen time.
Yes, relax.
And that was before iPads. That was before all that shit.
Yep.
Yeah. Very
Okay,
true.
what do we got next? Talk me through.
All right, next up is Oswald.
I
Oswald.
don't know who that is.
But it's
I don't
Oswald.
It does sound familiar. I think I've heard of them, but I've never seen
I'm putting it next. I'm actually putting it above Backyardigans. I feel more nostalgia about Oswald than I do Backyardigans.
Good.
But you've still
Next
never
is
seen it?
I like how well he does the 2 out of 3. So if we haven't seen it, it still goes and never seen it. So basically, this is Renner's list for his. This would be the ranking of the stuff he feels about is the never
well,
seen
no,
it list.
I just remember these are the 3 that like these are the 4 I remember. I know this character. I don't remember the show, and these
The
it's
rest
like
of them are
the rest of them I just don't really know or care about. Next is Peep in the Big Wide World.
I don't have that one either.
I don't know.
Okay. Next is Peppa Pig.
Heard of, never seen for me.
Okay, I've watched it a lot. I mean, mostly again with my daughter, and it is kind of obnoxious. So I'm okay with nausea.
Lowest tier of lowest of nausea. Next up, this is the Newt Newt Penguin. I don't remember what this kid's show is from, but I remember the Newt Newt Penguin.
I do too.
Pengu?
That sounds
Pengu?
right. Yeah.
Pengu?
Pengu? No, that's not. That didn't work.
It's Pingu. Pingu.
Oh,
Pingu.
Okay, yeah, I vaguely remember this show. I mean, it came out when I was wow. It started in 1986 and ended in 2000. So this show actually spans like all of our childhoods if you count Baby Renner. So with that
Funny
said,
that I've never seen it. I've never even heard of it, I don't think.
Yeah,
this is Casey whenever we make fun of how old he is.
All right. I see you, Renner.
All right, with that said, I'm okay going like okay, I guess, because like you got to give it props for crossing all of our generations. But I'm gonna put it
here. Put it here. Below Dora, but above Franklin.
Okay, I think that's fair.
Okay, next up. I remember this show. The kid does not talk.
Mm-hmm.
None of the characters talk, if I remember correctly.
Hang on. What's it called? Because judging by the picture, I don't know it.
Okay, I just looked it up.
Not remember.
It is Pocoyo.
Oh.
Pocoyo.
Yeah, I still don't know. Cool.
So I will say for me again, it's kind of in that time period of I just wasn't really into kid shows, but I do remember it. So I'm not going to say never seen it. But I'll let you kind of take the actual leadership of where it actually goes.
I'll put it below Max and Ruby because
Okay.
I kind of like the fact that also I don't know if you guys knew this, but it came out that like Max is on the spectrum or whatever.
Oh.
He was like one of the first like kid shows to like have somebody who was like on the spectrum represented.
That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
Because he's mainly nonverbal
Mm,
but he's also old enough to like cognitively understand things and should be able to talk. He just doesn't. So
okay.
if I remember correctly, he was one of the first to actually have like that inclusive thing.
That's
Next
cool.
up, I have no idea
Boxers.
what the fuck the polka dotted underwear is.
Boxers. It's called boxers.
Is it
No,
actually?
no, I'm
Oh,
just kidding. I
okay.
have no idea what that is. It looks like a chocolate chip cookie behind, like in the background, and then polka dotted boxers. I don't.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, my Googling isn't even getting us here. So I think that has to go bottom of never seen it.
Now, I
So
will say something that I'm surprised isn't on here, and I don't know if you guys know it, but it's the boy with the magic crayon.
Harold and the Purple Crown?
Harold and the purple crayon.
Is that a TV show?
There was shows, yes.
I never saw a
Okay.
show. It actually, just so you know, it is becoming a movie like this year.
Oh, I did not
Dude.
know that.
Yeah, or maybe next year, but soon.
I'm so happy.
I remember watching shows and reading the books. I
Yeah.
loved Harold and the Purple Crayon. So I'm surprised that's not on here.
Right?
Next,
I mean, yeah. Okay, go on.
next up is Roly Polioli. Do you
Okay.
guys know about Roly Polioli?
I watched Roly Poly Oly when I was a kid.
Heard of
I
it,
think
never watched.
I was a little too young.
Okay.
I remember seeing bits and pieces, but like it's like one of those memories of like I remember watching it on a TV, but like I wasn't old enough to like cognitively function properly, like I was an infant or something. It's like one of those like
Okay.
fragment memories.
I let you kind of put the determining factor on it. I want to put it and like it. I'm okay with between Barney and Bob the Builder or between Bob the Builder and Bear in the Big Blue House.
We'll put it between Bob the Builder and Bear the Big Blue House.
Cool.
Next up, the Magic School Bus. I think we know where this goes.
I mean, yeah. Now
If it's not next to Sesame Street, I walk out right
That's
now.
what I was gonna say. I was like, it is still below Sesame Street.
It's below
but it's
Sesame
right
Street,
up there.
but it's right up there. It's really close. But and the thing is actually, I kind of want to put it above Sesame Street. And hear me out.
Oh, I will.
It's solely because I don't know about you guys, but I watched that well beyond like being a kid.
Yeah.
Like being in elementary or middle school. Like we watched Magic School Bus in high school sometimes.
I mean, yeah.
Whereas like when it came to Sesame Street, I didn't really watch that past I think maybe like 5 or 6 because at that point it was all Transformers, baby. It was 2D Transformers show.
So
Heck
I will
yeah.
say, I don't know if is that giving too much power to the fact that just Magic School Bus is admittedly not made for high schoolers, but is made for older kids. Sesame Street is made for a younger audience.
I mean, that's fair, but also that's kind of like I guess it depends is like are we not counting older kids?
We are. I will say for me personally, I would still put it below Sesame Street. I feel nostalgia for both of these things, but to me, Sesame Street handily has more nostalgia. But I'm willing to secede that one. I'll let Casey poke in and
I love both of them too much. I don't
That's
know.
fair.
So
As long as it's next to Sesame Street, I'm fine.
Okay.
Honestly.
I'm willing to put it here. And I think the reason why is because like I remember being old enough and watching both of these side like overlap. So it's like I remember like there's like the years of watching Sesame Street, then like there's like Magic School Bus, and I remember enjoying and understanding Magic School Bus, but also still liking Sesame Street. And then it like there's like the rest of like the Magic School Bus, but like once I got older and that still continued to happen rather than Sesame Street.
Okay, you know what?
So
I've gone back on this. Sorry, real quick. I'm gonna say let's put this Magic School Bus on the highest because I will also say I've watched this show with my daughter way more than I've watched Sesame Street. So
that's fair.
I think I'm willing to put that on there.
Yeah. And I mean, one thing I was going to point out is like one thing, it's two different dynamics. Is like Sesame Street, I pull up scene stuff like the one I shared
Yeah.
and show my children. I also show and reference it at work, okay, as a grown freaking man. And it's hilarious and everybody loves it. With Magic School Bus, I don't show it at work, but I learn things as a grown man. Like
Yes.
it's such a both are so good.
Yes.
So
Okay.
I'm good with it. Go.
Perfect. Let's
like,
go to the next one.
Arnold turning orange because he ate too many carrots.
Mm-hmm.
And Arnold should have died because he took his
Helmet off on Pluto. That is still one of the most vivid memories for me watching shows as a kid. I was like, what just happened to him? Why what that's the one episode I have not shown my daughter. Also because she did at least at one point really like the idea of being an astronaut, and I don't want to dissuade her with that episode. So
Fair.
yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Next up, strawberry shortcake.
We're definitely the key demographic for this show. So with that said, I feel very I mean, I know it. I think we all probably heard of it at the very least, right?
I have a Game Boy thing so I don't know if you guys knew this. Game Boy, like Nintendo Game Boy, came out with cartridges where you could watch episodes of TV shows. My sister got a strawberry shortcake one that had 3 different episodes of strawberry shortcake on it. I got one that had 3 episodes of SpongeBob.
Nice.
Now, on long road trips, absolutely fantastic, because I would watch the 3 I would like play games, watch an episode of SpongeBob, play some more games, watch another episode of SpongeBob,
That's amazing.
play some more games, watch another episode of SpongeBob, and we'd be there. On the way back, play a few games, struggle through an episode of Strawberry Shortcake, play a few games, struggle through an episode of Strawberry Shortcake, play a few games, and then we'd be there.
Know it.
Okay. With that said, where I'm assuming you feel nausea on that category.
Yes, but like above Caillou nausea, though.
Are you willing to at least put it in the bottom of okay, I guess, just for the fact that we are clearly not the demographic the show is going for?
Let me just say, I think I gotta put it above JJ the Jet Plane. And okay. I fucking loved JJ the Jet Plane.
Okay.
But
so what he's saying, everybody,
JJ the Jet
is
Plane
there's
is
a part
horrifying.
of him that really enjoyed it. But we don't talk about it.
Anyway, moving on. Stanley. I did not watch Stanley.
So this is, I think, Flat Stanley. I think is this one. I will admit I've heard the name. I've never watched the show. I think it predates me. I think it might actually predate Casey, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I at the very least I never watched it, so don't know.
Let's see. Oh, this might be a completely different thing. I don't know. Flat Stanley's an old thing. I'm not sure this is Flat Stanley. Either way,
it's not
never
Flat
seen
Stanley.
it.
I looked it up.
Yeah,
it's not.
It's a very different thing. So this is just Stanley, and I don't know who he is. So, and he's not.
Next
flat,
up, Spot the Dog. I mainly remember Spot the Dog from the book series, not necessarily the kids show.
Same. I don't think I even knew it was a kids show, so I'm still willing to put it in.
I'm gonna put it. Gonna put it like.
We at least know the character, so we can give it bonus points for that.
Next up, Thomas the Tank Engine. I think I gotta either put it like either end of extreme nostalgia or middle of like it, and the only reason being is like I have like a mixed feeling with when it comes to Thomas the Tank Engine. I loved Thomas the Tank Engine as a kid, so much so that my grandfather made a table and put a Thomas the Train Engine like tabletop in it to where we would remove the top of the table. There'd still be the patterned Thomas the Tank Engine top. And that's where I would put like the blocks for the railroad. And I would
Nice.
play with Thomas the Tank Engine on top of that. But the thing is that table is still at my parents' house and it is still being used, not as the Thomas the Tank Engine part, but it is still being used.
For me personally, I know Thomas the Tank Engine. I loved it as a kid. I would put it in the like it section. I'm not extremely nostalgic for it, if that's fair.
Below Barney, above Bob.
That's where I would put it personally, but I'm willing if other people want to move it up or down, I'm fine with that.
That's where I was going to put it. So,
And
Casey, what do you got?
I haven't spoken into it, but I mean, it's kind of I have a weird relationship with them because every time I see as a video gamer, every time I see like a train game, I'm like, "Ooh, I love trains." I think it's based off of Thomas.
Okay.
But the thing is, I don't really like trains as much as I
Like
kind of
all
think I do. It's weird.
Yeah, no, you don't have the autism like function of trains.
Yeah, I don't. But it's a weird relationship. One, I don't even know how to put into words. So I like where y'all put it with all that.
The thing is
Okay.
I still have like the generational, because it was a meme, but also because I remember the episode of "It was time for Thomas to leave, for he had seen everything."
Yeah. And I mean, I think I saw like maybe a few episodes. I don't really have nostalgia for it though. Like
That's fair.
But it's Thomas the freaking Train, so
yes.
There you go.
Okay.
Next up is Timothy Goes to School. I did not see Timothy Goes to School.
Yeah.
I think I know of it, but I haven't seen it.
So never seen.
Now, one that I am surprised is not on here. Arthur.
Oh yeah.
I am very surprised that that's not on here, because Arthur the show, huge generational span.
Yeah.
Arthur the book series, even bigger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I actually wrote it down because I had that. I was wondering why it wasn't on.
I don't know about you guys. I personally, if Arthur was on here, it would probably go up in extreme nostalgia.
100%.
For me personally, it would be between Sesame Street and Clifford.
Okay, I'll give you that.
That's where it would be for me. Yep.
That's probably.
I think
and it has nothing to do with Matt Damon showing up. I swear.
Sure, it doesn't.
Okay, who is this rat?
I have no idea who the fuck this is.
Okay, I do recognize that character,
I think
but
that's a Chihuahua. I don't think that's a mouse, because that's a cat.
Maybe I don't recognize it as much as I thought I did. I don't know.
Were you maybe mentally getting mixed up with the Rugrats or something like that?
No,
or were you thinking about To Give a Mouse a Cookie, because that's a completely different mouse.
That is absolutely not what that mouse looks like. I do know that one really well. I will just say visually, I do recognize that character, but I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen the show or anything. It's just like I've seen that character before somewhere, so it's fine with never seen it.
Same.
Next up is Word World. This, as Nathaniel did a little bit of research, this is technically younger than I am. It's actually about the point where like I was getting too old for this. I recognize it. I've watched some episodes. Not a huge fan.
Okay. I didn't watch this. It came out when I was a middle teenager.
You said you were 16,
I think I was 16, and I was just like, there's no way I was watching this show. So
which means I was a grown-ass man, so I was
yes. Yeah, so
I'm
okay.
Go ahead and put it down here.
That's fair.
Next up, it's Veggie Tales.
Veggie Tales.
Well,
are we talking post like
Netflix?
Pre or post Netflix?
Pre-Netflix.
Okay, then honestly, for me, it's got to be. I would put it where
you know what?
Where we talked about
screw
Arthur.
Veggie Tales. Screw Veggie Tales. Specifically, Larry Boy. Specifically, Larry Boy.
Super Larry. Yeah, I mean, honestly, with Veggie Tales and Larry Boy, where we were talking about putting Arthur is where I'd put Veggie Tales for me.
I would agree.
So, and I know agree. That also has to do with like we were all raised good little Christian boys. So
we still are, right?
According to our grandparents. Okay.
You mean according to what we tell our grandparents?
Oh yeah, there you go.
There you go. So,
Yeah, no, but I mean seriously, it is extreme. Like, I mean,
yes,
it's even fun to watch with my kids still.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
Watching, I remember. So, Nathaniel, you know this, but this is because you volunteered with them also for a little bit before moving up to like the middle schoolers. But when I was volunteering for fourth and fifth
Yeah.
at at the church that we used to both attend, I
Yes.
was volunteering with the older elementary schoolers, and there was times where like, okay, cool, we because they're fourth and fifth graders, they're like, cool, the curriculum that they would give us is way too easy for them, so they just blow through it, and then we would just sit there for like 45 minutes with nothing to do. Me being in charge of like the sound and tech, I would then pull up episodes of not VeggieTales, but Larry Boy. Because
Nice.
the 2D animated series Larry
Oh
Boy,
yeah, I kind of forgot about that show.
absolutely fire. The
That
theme
was really
song,
good.
absolutely fire.
That was
The
great.
movies were kind of okay,
See, and it's
but the
funny because
show was great.
I have more memories of the movies than I do the show. I do remember the show, and I know exactly what you're talking about. But
Oh,
I
Larry
definitely watched the
Boy,
movies, like Larry
because
Boy and
like,
the Rumor Weed and Larry Boy and the Fib from Outer Space is definitely, obviously still ingrained in there. So
yeah.
so
But what's also really weird is that like with all of like the VeggieTales, like 90% of the like 99% of the characters are, or actually 100% of the characters are technically vegetables, other than Bob. Bob's technically a fruit, but we won't talk about that. Anyway, in the Larry Boy TV show, there is one character, and he is a grape.
mhm.
He is a grape, and his superhero name, because the entire series of the Larry Boy show is Larry Boy going to superhero school for some reason, and one of the students is a grape, and it's really weird.
I mean, they have a grape in one of the episodes of the show too, because they're the
yeah,
grapes of math.
Grapes of Wrath.
No, grapes of math. They
Is it?
become grapes of math because they're originally grapes of wrath, and then they realize they're good at multiplication, and they become grapes of
Oh,
math.
right.
So
Sorry. It's been a hot minute. My apologies.
yes, grapes of wrath obviously being the original story. That's
Right,
actually the name of the book,
right.
but they do
Yeah.
grapes of math.
But anyway, I digress. If I say to you guys, Joan was a prophet,
Ooh, ooh.
never really got it.
I
Never.
mean,
Yeah.
I'm giving I'm putting myself a little more out there than I want to, but like going into youth ministry as a college degree, I obviously was in this world
Mhm.
older than I probably should have. So I loved all of these, the TV
Yeah.
shows, the movies. I mean, the Pirates Who Don't Do Anything movie was, mwah, I
So
loved it.
good. So good.
I still would watch that all day long. That's fine. So thumbs
All
up.
right.
Okay. Let's
Next up,
do it.
the Wiggles. I love the
So
Wiggles.
yeah, again, I think this is going to be a time thing. Like I've watched The Wiggles, but only because I've watched it like for my child. I did not watch this
The
growing
new
up.
Wiggles?
The new Wiggles. I
Because the
don't.
old Wiggles, I don't know if you knew this, the old Wiggles actually went on a live tour in Australia doing adult versions of their songs.
That's not what I showed my child.
Whoa.
No, yeah, the new Wiggles. Yeah, and
Hot potato, hot potato, hot
with that
potato, hot
said,
potato,
even with what I've watched with
potato,
her, I would
potato,
probably give it
potato,
okay, I
potato.
guess. I'm not very nostalgic on it. I think it's kind of mediocre.
I'm gonna put it at top of okay, I guess,
Okay.
because classic Wiggles, man.
Okay. That's
Fruit
fair.
salad, yummy, yummy. Fruit
And I know
salad.
nothing. So
That's fair.
Next up is the Wonder Pets.
This is such
Wonder
a
Pets,
this is
Wonder Pets,
such
we're
a
on our way.
such a bummer way to end this, but I've never heard of this.
I've never heard of it either.
It even played on Disney. This was a Disney show. like up there with Jake and the Neverland Pirates.
Oh, okay. It might be a
And,
timing thing then. It might just be.
Or wait, hold on. Was it Disney or was it Nick? Hold on.
Nickelodeon.
Wonder Pets.
So I will say it started in 2006 and ended in 2016. So again, we're just in
It was
my
not
mid.
Disney.
Okay, we're in my teen years again. So it's just like that's obviously not going to be peak this kind of kids show. Because most of these are aimed for younger.
It's on Paramount Plus, which therefore it is a Nickelodeon show.
Gotcha.
Because
Yeah.
a lot of Nick shows were produced by Paramount. So
And here's the sad thing, which in recent events maybe not be so sad, but I didn't grow up with Nickelodeon, like almost at all. So I didn't grow up with Hey Arnold or Doug or
I
Yeah.
will say
Hey
I
Arnold was
got caught up.
PBS.
Hey Arnold was
Oh no, sorry. I was thinking of Arthur. My bad.
Arthur.
Hey
Yes.
Arnold.
Yeah.
Hey Arnold. Yeah.
With
Doug.
Doug, I got caught up as an adult or young. Yeah.
I did go back and watch that one a little bit once I got access to it, but still not like that young age where I'm like super nostalgic for it.
I will
right,
say,
but it was so good though.
I will say with both Doug and Hey Arnold, those were a little like though I was watching reruns of those when I was growing up. I did not grow up with that show, but I technically did. But also, I grew up in an era where like 90% of what I was watching was reruns because Nickelodeon, Disney, and Cartoon Network didn't have new shit to put out because they didn't know what to give us.
And this will age me a little bit more than I'm not this old, but when I was growing up, I watched reruns as well. But I watched reruns of the Andy Griffith Show and I Love Lucy. So,
Dude, real quick, I remember like being a bad boy, staying up late till 11 o'clock watching I Love Lucy.
Nice.
It was awesome.
Okay, with this list, what I'm going to suggest is, unfortunately, you can put that wherever you want. I'm going to suggest we put the Underpants Show at the very bottom of Never Seen It because it's a pair of underwear. I'm going to laugh if that's not what it is at all, and we just super misunderstood that assignment. But
right.
That's to me, that's where I would put this list.
It's kind of really funny that these 5 up top are something that just spanned across all 3 of us, especially since there are decades between all 3 of us. So it's kind of cool. Anyway, let us know what you guys think of this tier list. If there's anything you guys would have done differently, or like us, if you think there was anything that should have been added. Yeah. So other than that, okay, cool. You two say bye.
Bye.
Peace.
All right. Bye.